Joining us now, Garland Favorito. Garland, as you know, we've kind of made him a star here in the John Fredericks Show. Now, came on our show, and now he's on Newsmax, Fox News. They all got him. America's voice. He represents voterga.org. Now, Garland, we talked New Year's Eve, and I was really pumped because we had finally gotten the favorable ruling that you were granted a hearing today at 11 a.m. in Fulton County Court downtown, and the hearing today is for the judge to decide if your organization can do a forensic analysis of the mail-in ballots in Fulton County. Can you explain how this works?
I sure can, John.
And it's a big opportunity for you.
It's a big opportunity for everyone in the country. It's going to be a landmark ruling if we get it, and we think we will. But first of all, I want to say thank you. I am one of the Americans that you gave a voice to that Martha was talking about, so appreciate that. And it's particularly an honor to be here on your 10th anniversary show.
Thank you.
So I'm really honored about that, so thank you. So, yes, so what we did, we filed a lawsuit a couple of weeks ago, and we want to see the Fulton County ballots for a couple of reasons. Not just the video that you saw where they illegally scanned the ballots after they told the monitors that they were done for the evening, but in addition, we have 4 affidavits from 20-year poll workers who handled the ballots during the audit, and they said that they believed that there were fraudulent ballots in there.
Because they were not folded.
They were not.
They were pristine.
That's right. So these were mail-in ballots, but they were not mailed. They are hand-marked ballots, but they weren't marked by a pen or a pencil. So those are clear indications of fraud. And so we wanted to basically look at them. So we filed a lawsuit, and I can tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Basically, it has 9 counts, 70 facts in it, all supported by exhibits. And we asked for 4 things for relief. We asked for a visual inspection of the ballots. We asked for a forensic exam of the ballots. We asked for the Dominion ballot images so that we can make sure there was no hanky-panky going on between the time it was certified and the time we were doing the inspection. And we can compare those to the actual physical ballots. And then we asked for the election reports so that we can verify the electronic chain of custody with the new chain of custody that we will have as a result of the inspection. So those are the 4 things we've asked for. They're very simple, and what's really bizarre is that all of this should be public record, and we shouldn't have to be suing anybody to get it. If elections were transparent in Georgia and America, and they had followed our recommendations, which we made over the last few years, all this information would be open to the public.
So who is fighting you?
Well, right now, Fulton County is actually not even fighting yet. They're just trying to get organized. They haven't even made a brief in their own defense. It's that bizarre. They have only issued an appearance where the elections attorney, who is actually a fairly very nice lady, I know her pretty well, she has filed for an appearance, but she hasn't. There's no defense yet. And we have filed not only the lawsuit. When she emailed our attorney and said she may object, we filed a motion to compel immediately. And then when the Senate ruled last week that they would like a forensic examination, and they sent another request over, which has it has no basis in law, it's just a request, we tripled down and filed an emergency motion based on that as well. So the judge has already got our lawsuit, a motion to compel, and a emergency motion to do this audit, and there's been no response from Fulton County other than, can we have more time?
So they just want to run the clock out.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just they have no defense.
Yeah.
I mean, because what would defense to be against transparency of public ballots?
Exactly.
There is no defense against that.
So it's just run the clock out.
Yes. That's the obvious strategy. And you've seen this, John, for the last 2 months in every state with the Trump campaign. They've gone into other states, same problem. And they've yet to be able to get the actual evidence of election fraud in front of a court, that will listen to it. So we believe the suit is a little bit different, and it's very precise. the court's going to have to rule, and we're fairly convinced that even though we're in Fulton County Superior Court and we have a Superior Court judge in Fulton County that's going to have to rule against Fulton County, we think that she'll be forced to do that because we pretty much have her backed into an evidentiary corner. Mm-hmm. And if you, one of my friends who I think you might know, Catherine Burnett, told me one time recently, she said, the way that you get a judge to rule in your favor is that you have to back them into a corner where they have no choice but to give you, rule on the side of liberty against the state. And that's where we think she is at this point in time. There is, as y'all have said, there's no argument that you could possibly make that would be legitimate to prevent us from doing what we're asking to do.
Well, yeah, and also she has to know that the entire nation, not just Georgia, but the entire nation is watching and listening to see how this judge rules.
Exactly, and we're writing. There's 9 of us who are plaintiffs. I'm the lead plaintiff, but we're doing this on behalf of 2 million Georgia voters and 70 million voters nationwide who believe that their vote was diluted by illegal votes. So, that's the argument.
So the biggest thing here, we're with Garland Favorito. By the way, Garland, we've now made him a national star, voterga.org, voterga.org, and we're happy to do that, Garland, because you deserve it for what you do, and I really appreciate it. You've been fantastic. I got one question here from Amy in Atlanta. Who's the judge?
Yeah, the judge is Rachel Carnsale. We think she's a good judge. She was a member of the Thomas More Society. We think that she'll, rule, fairly. There are a lot of questionable judges in Fulton County, but we have no reason to doubt her ability and her judgmental capabilities. So we are anxious to get the evidence in front of her as soon as possible.
So let me just get this straight. Today at 11 o'clock, if the judge, Judge Consale, she can reject their delays or not?
She's going to have to do that before, because
before 11.
Before 11. She has asked for them to appear at 11. It's not an official hearing yet.
So right, I mean, so I know it's 8:20. So what happens?
Well, we're waiting to hear right now, and you may hear it first on the John Fredericks Radio Show, but we're waiting to hear whether or not this hearing is going to be confirmed or whether or not she's going to grant Fulton County a delay. I'm literally.
So they want to make the delay, obviously. So if they didn't have a delay, let me just walk through this scenario as I understand it.
Sure.
Let's say there's no delay, and 11 a.m. Judge Consale rules, yes, you can go ahead and do a forensic analysis of the ballots. The first thing you got to do is a visual inspection by hand, right? How many are we talking about in Fulton County?
There's 150,000 mail-in ballots. And the second question is, if she rules, let's go ahead, then the second question is when. So we already have a ballot inspection team lined up to go with two dozen people. Scanners are waiting to go in. We have everything that we need. We have a chain of custody firm independently set up to do this. We believe that it would take 5 or 6 hours to do the visual inspection, get everything scanned. So let's say we started this afternoon, 1 or 2 o'clock. We could conceivably be through by 9 or 10, let's say before midnight. And immediately we will know through visual inspection, even before we've done the forensic exam, roughly how many fraudulent ballots there may or may not be.
Now, when you say fraudulent ballots, this has nothing to do with signatures, who voted, where they're from, address, like Trump was saying on the phone. This is, you look at a ballot and you say, well, this ballot, how can it be mailed? It's not folded. It's not marked by a pen. And then you go through the forensic analysis of those ballots. So what is that? Walk us through that.
Yeah, so the forensic analysis will be more in-depth. So it will uncover probably additional things that we cannot detect with the naked eye. And we expect that they will uncover even more. So what the end of the process will all have all the images on hard drives. We'll have a copy. We'll give a courtesy copy to Fulton County. We, as the plaintiffs, will have a copy
on hard drives. And then you're gonna rescan them also.
And the scanning. Well, yes, but we're scanning them, and now once they're finished scanning, Each group will have a hard drive with those images on it. The new scanned images.
Now,
So,
are you going to put them through the Dominion vote machines again?
No. We're going to scan them with independent scanners.
Right.
And
So you're not looking to see if the vote count came out different in Fulton County. You're focused on the authenticity of the mail-in ballots.
That's right. So we're the only thing we would be counting would be the number of ballots. We'll have our batch.
The number, right?
And we will probably inspect any fraudulent ballots. So we will.
Okay, so you want to be sure the number of ballots is consistent with what the machines said they were.
That's right.
Right. So if it says that, a total vote count, obviously.
Right. And we will do a deep dive into the potentially fraudulent ballots. Yeah.
There's a possibility, and I believe this is going to happen because one person, Susie Voiles. I know Susie Voiles for 30 years. Mm-hmm. She's one of the most respectable, integrous women in elections I've ever met. Mm-hmm. She's a Republican, but she has been doing this for how long? I mean, forever.
Yeah, probably a 3 decades at least.
A 3 decades. And she got fired for doing the affidavit, but she came forward and said that, there were thousands of these ballots that she's like, these are not real ballots. I touched them. I saw them. They're not real. And then they took batches from her. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. And John, it's not just her. There's 3 more people who have sworn affidavits who are equally as qualified as Susan, who is one of the most qualified possible people you could find in Fulton County, 30-year poll worker. So there's 4 sworn affidavits. And then there's other people, monitors, who have seen this as well. So there's a mass of evidence in addition to the videotape that we've all seen at State Farm Arena. So the evidence is overwhelming, and we think that once we are through with this, we're going to have tens of thousands of fraudulent ballots. But we don't know until we look. So, of course, the margin of victory here in this race is only 12,670 votes.
So just, Martha, think about this. So this analysis is done, and let's just play this out, may we? Let's just speculate this out. The analysis is done, and Garland Favorito and his organization, voterga.org, finds out that, pick a number, 15,000, right? 20,000 ballots are not real. Like, they're not authentic ballots. Like, they were just made up and put in the machine. Because that's really what you're after here.
That's right.
Made up ballots,
That's
right?
right.
They're not real. They didn't come in the mail. Somebody printed them off, machine, put Biden in, because nobody on down ballot got voted for. Biden only.
Well, now that we don't know. Now,
you'll find out with the hand
We
inspection.
actually, that's where it really gets interesting, because we believe that these fraudulent ballots, if in fact they are, we think they are there, they do have down ballot races. So if we find 15 or 20,000 of these things, then that raises the question, what are you going to do about the U.S. Senate race? That's currently in a runoff, and it never should have been. So if I was David Perdue's lawyers, I would be jumping on that immediately and saying, wait a minute.
They could jump on that this afternoon.
We already won.
Unbelievable.
Do you know if they have engaged? Are they engaged in this at all today? David Perdue's.
No, he's in hiding.
They are not. They are not engaged in this.
Yeah, they just want to make it all go away and play golf.
But I'm sure they'll be interested in the results.
So, but imagine this, Martha. Play this out. So we get this done, and we find 20,000 ballots that are completely fraudulent, and that then gets introduced into this January the 6th, right? When they go to Congress. Now they have your evidence.
That's right.
That would be the theory.
We will certainly make all of our evidence available because we want the right.
And then it gets on national TV, and then Roethlisberger can't get on and say, "Oh, it's been debunked," or "It's baseless," or whatever nonsense he says. And Jeff Duncan, Cosmo Man, can't run to CNN and say, "Oh, this, Garland Favorito is not is not." Legitimate, and the organization's not legitimate, and these ballots are fine. It's a matter of opinion, and so somebody didn't fold them. They put them in a big envelope. Whatever it is that they lie about, this is going to get litigated in front of the globe,
the entire
on the
world,
6th, right, with its 24 hours. And if Favorito pulls this off, that one thing alone, if you say, okay, here's 20,000 ballots you got introduced in the system that are not real, that somebody made them up, printed them and made them up. you can't trust anything. You can't trust Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona,
right.
Nevada. You can't trust any of them.
That's exactly
And the
right.
whole thing is going to collapse like a house of cards.
And so, John, and since
That's why Trump is going to get inaugurated if you find this is fraudulent.
So, John, since you mentioned those two individuals, let me just talk to them real quickly. You mentioned
Do it.
You mentioned Jeff Duncan. He said
Cosmo Man.
He said that there was no evidence. Okay, so I sent him an email, personal email, to his personal email address with the evidence. So he has my testimony, my sworn affidavits. He has all the evidence that he needs from what we've just talked about. He has also the my affidavits, sworn affidavits on the Dominion vote flip that did occur in Ware County, 37 votes flipped from Trump to Biden. And I sent him, I said, Jeff, I understand you're looking for some information and you don't think there's any evidence. Here it is. Now you have it. So Jeff Oldham has the evidence, and he has to know, if he reads his email, what the evidence is. So he can't say that anymore. In regards to Secretary Raffensperger, if you saw my Senate testimony, I went through point by point of how his office has deceived the people, particularly on State Farm Arena, by claiming that the monitors were left of their own volition. I walked through point by point why that was a lie. In regards to Gabriel Sterling's comments that it was standard normal ballot processing in State Farm Arena. I walked through point by point what was wrong with the arena, the skirted table, the hiding. I gave them 4 Georgia code sections that were in violation, hiding ballots under skirted tables. The room was wrong. But most importantly, they continually scanned the same ballots over and over again. You can see it on the video. Gabe, that is not normal processing. You did not tell the truth there.
So he got on CNN 3 days after the election, said there was no evidence, no fraud, nothing to see here, baseless, and he lied. Therefore, he should be held accountable to that. Raffensperger lied, so he's done. He's a rat. He sold Trump out. And then, of course, the Washington Post took the call and manipulated it. When you read the transcript, there's nothing the matter with it.
Sounds like the Ukrainian call to me.
Yes.
Perfect phone
exactly.
call.
That's exactly
Garland
right.
Favorito, we're out of time.